I just got off an airplane a few days ago, and I was on that plane for a little over 5 hours. And the whole time I'd been reading a book. That's what I do. And the gentleman next to me at the end of the flight leaned over and said, "How on earth have you been able to read a book for this long?" He mentioned he'd always wanted to be a reader, and he loves books. But after about 5 or 10 minutes, he has to sort of shut the book and walk away. Mentioned that his brain just doesn't work anymore. And so I want to talk to you today about how to build up that stamina of reading for long periods of time, because it's not easy to do. I'm going to tell you really what was going through my head, sort of the battle I was having with myself, because even though I'm a practiced reader, I still struggle. And I want you to know that. But it is a skill we're going to develop. So let's jump into that and see what we learn. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Read Well podcast. My name is Eddy Hood, and we are talking about how to sit for long periods of time and read. So when I first started reading books, I probably had a few minutes in me and then my brain would wander off. But now, if the situation is right, I can read for 5, 6+ hours and I'm doing just great. When I was on that plane, here's what happened. So I had to make a few decisions about the environment. I chose not to accept the headphones from the stewardess as she was walking back and forth. I also put my laptop in my bag, and then I put my bag in the overhead compartment. And then finally, I chose to sit in a window seat so that it would have been really inconvenient to sort of hop over the other two people to get my bag. And so I was sort of stuck in a place with no distraction. And this makes me think of Thoreau. So Henry David Thoreau would often take his little boat and he would paddle out into the middle of Walden Pond. And then he would pull the oars in and he would lay down and look up at the sky so that he could think. And he did that because he wanted to be free from distraction and have time to work through his mental processes. He literally put himself in an environment where he could think and do his best work. That's what I was trying to do on the airplane. So that was step one, is design an environment where I actually have a chance of focusing and succeeding. Now, about 10 pages into the book, I was really struggling with my brain. I was thinking, this is a long flight. I could ask the stewardess for headphones. She'd probably give me some. I'm sure there's some really good movies on this flight I would love to see. And, even though I'm a practiced reader, I still have those thoughts. So I want you to know that probably won't ever go away for you, because you're human and we all would rather do nothing and relax than put in a bunch of work sometimes. Reading a book is work. So here's the secret as these distractions occur. It's to not hate yourself as they show up. I've gotten really good over the years at acknowledging those sort of mind-wandering experiences and say, oh, okay, I'm out in left field. Come back to the page and start again and take a deep breath and begin reading. I just get really mad at myself. What is wrong with you? Why can't you focus? What's wrong with your brain? I don't speak like that to myself anymore. I'm much kinder to myself. And that sort of a continual practice of coming back to the page means that every time I read, I have to do that less and less, because my brain just sort of works better on the book. So that's the tip I have for you, is don't get angry at yourself when your mind wanders. It's supposed to wander. In fact, I want to read you a passage from Csikszentmihalyi's book, Flow. This is a book we're reading in book club right now. He says, in reality, to achieve such an ordered mental condition is not as easy as it sounds. Contrary to what we tend to assume, the normal state of mind is chaos. Without training and without an object in the external world that demands attention, people are unable to focus their thoughts for more than a few minutes at a time. So he's done this extensive research in this book to sort of understand how people think and move and act and behave, and is saying that our natural state is chaos. Our brain is going to sort of move into entropy. So if you feel that in your own personal life, step number one is set up an environment where you know you can succeed. Get rid of all of the distractions. Be physical about it, right? Lock them away. And step number two is to be kind to yourself as the distractions occur. All right, everybody. So really quickly before you go, I would love to ask one big favor of you. If you go to my Facebook page, I have an event there. That event is going to be celebrating the grand opening of my bookstore called Edgewater Bookstore. Now, this is going to happen on October 23rd. It's a live event. You'll sit at your computer if you want to attend, and you simply watch like you're watching TV. I will be streaming live. You can ask me questions. You can whatever. My hope is to not only show you what books we'll be selling and all of the other cool things that I have in store, but also to provide some discount codes to everybody there. I'm going to be giving away a bunch of free stuff just as a thank you for those who showed up that night. Right now, as of this filming, I have close to 100 people who are going to be there in attendance or who have at least RSVP'd. I don't expect all of them to show up, but if they do, how great would that be? We'll have a lot of fun together on October 23rd. So if you haven't already done so, please go save your seat. Head on over to facebook.com and look up the Read Well podcast and follow me. If you haven't followed me yet, go ahead and do that so that you get my writing each day on how to read deeply. But then go down to the events and open that puppy up and click that you are going. So that's it for this week. I hope you got something out of it. Again, remember, reading is an art. It's a practice. It's something that you have to work on as a human being. It's much like the skill of learning to play the saxophone or the piano. To be able to read for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, it really comes down to designing an environment that supports that kind of reading and then being kind to yourself as your mind wanders. Just gently come back to the page. Do that a few times and it will get easier, I promise. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody, and listening. And until next week, as always, remember to read slowly, take notes, and apply the ideas. I'll see you next time.